I cannot hear you. Give me a second. Oh, very well, thank you. I can hear you now. Can you hear me fine? Okay, fabulous. Just give me a second to sort out my camera. Okay, good morning. How are you doing? And you mentioned you have arrived July sometime this year. So, mm, may I ask, when did you finish your PhD? Oh, 12 years ago. Okay, so your bridging visa at the moment is your partner is the main applicant for PR, or what's the status in terms of your visa? And so you arrived with a partner visa, and now you're on bridging visa to get your permanent residency. Is that correct? Okay. What is there any restriction on your bridging visa in terms of number of hours you can work or any other uh, elements that you want to share? I meant about your visa. So your bridging visa, is there any restriction for working, or you can work full time? Okay, all right. So that was the main concern about, because we require someone eligible to work in Australia. If this is the case, then we move on to some generic questions in terms of interview. And so I was wondering, have you looked at our website? So what did you understand from our website? What do you think we do? If it was up to you, what would be the ideal work setting for you? What's your dream job, basically? Okay. Have you ever worked remotely in the past? How long you did work remotely there? How many months did you work remotely? Was it more than a year or less? Okay. Now, this is a more software engineering role, less research, basically. Would you be okay to work on software for some time? What was your last position in terms of work? What did you do there? Okay. So what percent of your job was programming there? So if you want to summarize your C# programming skill, how many hours in total you have written C# code in total since you graduated 20 years ago or something? What was the topic of the project? What was the objective of that project? Okay, so for dependency injection, for instance, what library did you use? Do you remember any other Nugget app package did you use in that project? Okay. Throughout your career, have you used machine learning for any project? Okay. Do you remember which library did you use for machine learning there? Okay, sure. So in terms of testing software, have you used any software testing, unit testing framework in the past? Okay. In regards to tools, have you used Visual Studio for coding? Okay. Have you used or have you worked on Linux implementation at all in the past? Okay. Python programming. Have you done coding in Python at all? Okay. Forgot to ask, what languages do you speak in addition to English? Mandarin. Only Cantonese, no? Mandarin. Sure. Okay. Have you worked with any cloud computing platform, Azure or AWS? So, for instance, have you done Lambda coding at all? Serverless, I meant using Lambda. No server is required for computation. Okay. Have you used Azure as well, or just AWS? Microsoft Cloud Computing Platform, Azure. Right. So in terms of techniques or areas of programming, have you done any image processing in one of the projects or any of the projects in the past? Okay. Have you used any software-specific tool such as Jira or Confluence for issue tracking and document management? Are you working full-time or part-time at all at the moment? I mean, currently, are you working at the moment? Yeah, not no for part-time as well. At the moment, are you working part-time at all? So you mentioned about your salary. Just to be specific, what would be your expected salary range? Okay, fair enough. Um, Availability to work, would you be able to start immediately or do you require some weeks notice to start? And as I mentioned in the job ad, this is a remote setting, so you're required to work from home, which basically requires a suitable sitting arrangement, desk and chair, and a good internet access, and also a computer to work. We later can supply a computer and monitors for you, but during probation, it is required that you use your own equipment if possible. So do you have, let's break it down to multiple questions. Firstly, do you have suitable sitting arrangement? So you would require a separate room, a quiet place in order to sit at a desk and work. Now, so this is almost the end of the general interview. Can you explain a bit about yourself? What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses in terms of work? Self-learning. What was the last topic you learned by yourself? Okay. Have you done any Udemy or Coursera course recently? If you are using captions, probably sometimes captions are not displayed correctly on Google. So I mentioned, do you use Udemy or Coursera for learning, or any other online source, YouTube or internet to learn something? Do you have any hobby? Okay, so that was the end of the interview. Do you have any question from me? Sure. So the software engineer position is a challenging task. Requires good understanding of coding first, best practices, being able to write efficient and concise code, and also understanding the system that we are implementing. The system meaning the product and the role of the product in the customer's setting. So there is a good understanding of these elements required in order to be able to fulfill duties of a software engineering at AirVision. Other occasional tasks are finding bugs and flaws in the software and proposing solutions in order to fix them. Sometimes fixing the solution is not straightforward. Imagine that we may want to fix an airplane while it is flying. So we cannot just land the airplane and move it to a hangar to repair the airplane. But while it is flying, we have to find a solution and fix it in the air. So some of the systems are mission critical. We have to be able to efficiently and quickly fix them if something goes wrong. Technologies that might require for product development are mainly C# implementation, some C++ implementation, and for exploratory work, Python implementation. There is some exposure to database, but we are not essentially a database developer. So we only use the database for storing some configuration and some log data, but we do not use the database as such as a bank or a financial institute uses it. The role requires strong communication skills, both internally with your colleagues as well as to customers. We do not expect, of course, to be a master communicator essentially, but as you proceed your throughout your job, it is a skill that we anticipated to get better and better. We provide some learning material time to time as we may see fit, and it is expected that you learn through those material, either watch the videos or do some exercise in order to get better in whatever you are assigned to be done. There may be occasional traveling around Australia, not very often, probably a couple of times maximum a year. For instance, this year we had a get-together in Sydney, so staff had to travel to Sydney for a retreat over a weekend and attend to an exhibit. It was fun, interesting, but nevertheless, that travel arrangement maybe once or twice a year. Not a problem. So if you want to proceed further, I have to organize another video call with you together with our CEO, and then we may ask you some technical questions as well. Okay, not a problem. It was nice to meet you. Sure. Just asking out of curiosity, this is your personal choice. Okay, very nice to meet you. I'll get in touch later this week. Thank you very much. Bye now.